Hello and welcome. My name is Tom Shima. Over the course of 2026, I'm playing the game Persona 3 Reload. Only I'm trying something a little different. I'm going to match the pace of the game. That's right, I'm playing this game one real day at a time. Please enjoy this different take on the game in a series I'm calling Persona a Day. Hello and welcome. My name is Tom Shima, and today is Sunday, May 17th. So as I like to do, I'm going to talk first about what we did yesterday. This makes sure we're all caught up on where we are, and we can come into today fully informed. From there, I will get into today's gameplay session and see where that takes us. And then we'll come back here to the desk to talk about what we did and see what sort of further connections and details we can make. For any of you watching on YouTube, I will have timestamps in the description if you want to jump to a different section. I also want to mention that this is a full playthrough of the game, so we will be encountering spoilers. So let's start by looking at what we did yesterday on Saturday. A big prevailing theme that we've encountered this whole week has been the preparation for exams. We have midterm exams that begin tomorrow morning, tomorrow on Monday. So that has really dominated our thoughts in school, after school, and just everything around our life. So yesterday being Saturday, we started the day at school, and we're doing that final preparation and push for review, covering whatever topics we needed to, and just running close to that deadline and trying to make the most of it. The game actually gave me a chance to decide whether I wanted to pay attention in class yesterday or to sleep. I've never been a big fan of the idea of sleeping in class, but especially on the last school day before exam week, it seemed like an even easier choice to stay awake. So I did power through staying awake, and I made some good academic progress in school, which was a fantastic way to start the day. Having that already behind us, it was just that much easier to try to keep that momentum going through the rest of the day. And so the school day continued on. We were all dedicated to our reviews and getting as prepared as we can be for Monday. After that whirlwind, we ended up making it to the after-school time. And you might remember that we had spent some time with Bunkichi and Mitsuko, the elderly couple that run a bookstore, and they have a connection to a persimmon tree that's at the school. And the last time we were with the elderly couple, Mitsuko had come to the school because she had heard rumors that there was something that was planned with the courtyard and that they were considering removing the persimmon tree that was there. And she was quite concerned about that, as was her husband Bunkichi. They didn't have any details other than a rumor, though, and they just asked me if I would keep an ear out and see if I heard anything. And I had promised I would look into that as best I was able. So after school got out yesterday, I made my way down to the courtyard just to see what sort of actual details I could see. The tree still looked nice and healthy, but there was a student there who had heard the same rumor, that the tree was going to be cut down at some point. I still didn't walk away feeling like I had any concrete timelines on anything or a plan for the actual area, but to hear that rumor is more prevalent is a little concerning. So the next time we're with the elderly couple, I can say that I did hear some more information, and it kind of corroborates what they had also heard. I picked up that bit of knowledge, but haven't had a chance to make it back and tell them about it just yet. But I continued my walk to get some fresh air after school. There was a sale at the pharmacy, so we stopped there just to see if there was anything we needed. And I picked up a Persona from the compendium to just have one more on hand. And my afternoon walk then took me to Naganaki Shrine. The elementary school student Maiko had texted me and said she was excited and wanted to try, to get together and, let's play. I'd promised her in the past that the next time I was available at the playground by the shrine there, I would spend some time playing with her. It was kind of hard because I did want to focus on exam preparedness, with them being at that point 2 days away, but even closer now. It felt kind of hard to not really just bury my head in a book and get prepared. But I talked about it with you guys, and we kind of said that it makes a little bit of sense to get that fresh air and that activity now. It gives the mind a break from the constant studying and kind of primes it for the evening to get really back down into it and focus hard. So it seemed like a good multiple-faceted use of our time. We could keep our promise to Maiko, we could get some fresh air for ourselves, and hopefully we can bring some fun to her afternoon as well. So that's what we ended up doing. We played there for a while and enjoyed the slide and the jungle gym and all the fun equipment there. And after a while, she came up to me and said, "Hey, I'm getting a little hungry. Do you think we could go out and get some food?" I know. Why don't we go to Wild Duck Burger? I love Wild Duck. I was thinking to myself, that doesn't sound bad. We could do that. Actually, at the time, I was remembering how my current yen situation is looking and trying to wonder if I'm able to even make that promise and if I could afford a meal for both of us, or at least for her. But thankfully, that wasn't a problem. So we made our way over there. We both got a good-looking burger and some fries. And she was, super excited. She talked about how she loves going out to eat, coming to Wild Duck Burger. Those were some of her favorite times with her parents. And, I was excited to hear all that because she's been having some trouble with her parents. And that's when she revealed that it's times when they would go out to dinner like this that her parents wouldn't fight as much. Which, again, it's been kind of hard to hear. But I was glad I was doing something that she liked and that she has good memories of. So we were eating our burgers and enjoying those, and she was having a good time. And then she just kind of got contemplative and quiet and asked me, hey, so why do people get divorced? And if you go back and watch what we did yesterday, that scene took a while for me to process and talk through with you guys, just because how do you really answer that correctly to anybody, but to an elementary school student? This has been dominating her thoughts because it's a huge important part of her life right now. So when she asked me that, I was given the choice to try to elaborate on the concept of people's affections changing over time and how it's possible for people to fall out of love. There was the option to just claim ignorance and say, oh, I don't really know. Or there was technically a third option to say that it was probably something she did. But I condemned that in the moment, and that wasn't even something that I was going to consider saying. I went back and forth on saying, to you guys, like, do I want to tell her that I don't know? Because it's a hard question to answer. That kind of felt like, running away from a question she had. She was trusting me with that and asking somebody older to help her with something she didn't understand. So I thought I really did try. I thought I owed it to her to try and explain things as best I was able. So I did take the route to talk about how people's affections and relationships change over time and how the concept of love can change between people. I was attempting to approach it as delicately as possible and trying to keep in mind that I'm talking to an elementary school student. But I also wanted to respect her opinions and her as a person, so I didn't want to hide anything unduly. But, so I tried my best in my semi-eloquent way to explain this to her. And at that point, after I had told her that, she began to cry. And so I obviously felt terrible. I'm sitting there with this elementary school student who asked me this question, and I try to answer it, and it brings her to tears. So I'm feeling like, the lowest of the low at that point. But then the game prompted me. It's like, okay, now what do you want to do? Do you want to try to calm her down or to let her cry? And I think I spent even more time on that back and forth question with you guys, trying to weigh the pros and cons of both of those choices. Because I could make a case for both, and I could make a case against both. And I already felt bad about, making her cry in the first place, so I didn't want to make things any worse than they already were. But at the end of it all, I decided, we kind of talked it out, you and and I decided it was best to let her process this as best she's able. And if crying is what she feels is going to help her at this point, I'm not going to make her stop. So I was just going to try to be there for her as she processed this and just try to help her however I could at that point. And so she cried for a little while, obviously. But she soon stopped. She made herself stop. She took that deep breath and, sniffled a couple times. And then she turned to me and she apologized for making a scene and for making me uncomfortable. And that hadn't really crossed my mind. Well, maybe it did cross my mind a little bit, but I wasn't going to be that guy that was like, hey, you got to stop crying because it looks bad or anything. I just wanted to help her through that in whatever way I could. And if crying was going to make her feel better, I wanted to let her do that until she felt better. And she did thank me for spending time with her and being there for her. And that it was also getting late. So we finished our meal and I was able to walk her home then, but I was also able to part ways promising that we would play again. So, next time I'm available and she wants to have some fun at the playground, I would be there for her. And she seemed to appreciate the day overall. I didn't treat her as just a kid and dismiss her problems. We were able to play in the afternoon. We did get to go get dinner together. So at the end of the day, our social link rank improved to rank 2. And it wasn't the cheeriest of conversations, but it was very much a real conversation. And I do feel like we got closer as a result of it. It was tough, but hopefully going forward, we can build off of the foundation we established yesterday and just keep trying to make progress together. So after all that, I went back to the dorm, kind of contemplating the choices I'd made and not feeling exactly as peppy and excited as I'd come into the afternoon feeling. But yeah, I made it back to the dorm. And when I got there, I saw Junpei and Yukari both in the lobby. Hadn't really seen Yukari much in a while. She'd been out studying with other people, so it was nice to see her again. But Junpei was there and he was begging. It's like, please, Yucatan, let me see your notes. I'm a little behind on my notes. Can I copy some to get ready for exams? And, in her way with Junpei, she just sighed and was like, how far behind are you? And he's like, well, maybe back around the beginning or so. And so she just, again sighed, oh, geez. And then she gave in. It's like, yeah, I can help you with that. I've got good notes that I can share with you. And, he was like, man, sweet, you're a lifesaver. And then he turned to me and it's like, hey, how about you, Tom? You want to join us too? Maybe with your notes, this will be even easier for me. Maybe we can all study together and, survive this exam problem together. And I was really excited to have that chance. It was so good to have the ability to study with Akihiko and Mitsuru the other night. So getting to spend the same evening yesterday with Junpei and Yukari was very exciting to me. So again, I hurried upstairs, put my bags away, got whatever study materials I needed, and returned back down to the lobby with them. And so we set into our studying. Fairly early on, Junpei seemed a little distracted, as he seems to get sometimes. And Yukari was like, come on, Junpei, we're all doing this together. You really need to focus. And he said that it's hard to focus if all we're doing is studying. He figured we needed to lighten the mood a little bit and take our minds off the heavy studying so that we can actually appreciate it more in his cool kind of Junpei logic way. And so at that point, he takes a deep breath and he turns to me. He's like, so, Tom, I want to talk about an academic topic. What do you want to hear about? Do you want to hear about history, arithmetic, or literature? And so, I kind of fell in step with him there. It's like, oh, okay, Junpei, why don't you tell me what you can about literature? And he smiled like, yes, a good choice. Let's talk about the book 1984. Have you read 1984? Oh, you haven't? Orwell. In just a perfect pun there that, we said in the moment would have been, the chairman would have been so proud of him for that. You could almost, hear Yukari rolling her eyes at that, but even she was able to then throw her own little literature-related pun back out to things. So as corny as it felt, and as probably non-productive for studying as it felt, it actually did serve the purpose of lightening the mood and kind of getting us all to smile and, chuckle a little bit to ourselves and to take that step back and reassess our focus on things. He was happy that it was well received and asked us if we want to hear another one. And I kind of took that middle of the road approach of, that was pretty good. And Yukari, on the other hand, was like, okay, you've had your fun, but you remember what Mitsuru said, right? If you don't do well in these exams, there are going to be consequences. And he heard that loud and clear and was able to use that as motivation to get down to studying. But things were a lot lighter at that point. We were probably having a bit more fun with it. I'm sure we were bouncing questions off each other, comparing notes. But the game said we all made a lot of study progress there. It said I made more progress than I would have if I was just studying by myself. So I gained a few points of academics there, and just like the previous night, I really felt like I got a lot out of that. It was more than just studying. It was spending time with Junpei and Yukari and getting to see another side of them, to hopefully help them the same way they were helping me, that we could all walk away from the table feeling that much more prepared for next week. But by the end of that, I do think we were more prepared and we accomplished a lot. So we all headed to bed, coming into our last day off before exams. So that brings us into today. We're all caught up now. So I will send us over to the game and we will see how Sunday the 17th plays out for us. Okay. Much better. So this is where we left off yesterday. We just finished studying and I'd made that good academic progress. Still, again, not enough to take us beyond average, but it was just the amount of progress we needed last night to keep getting ready for exams.
Oh, this goes like that. Then you take that and carry it over to here. And then...
I'd actually thought we were a little further in the scene when I loaded in here, so we'll let this play out again as Junpei looks quite contemplative. We'll call this a bit more of a refresher for what people saw last night.
Hey, man. You mind giving me a little help with this one?
Oh, look who's actually putting the effort in. That wasn't so bad, was it?
About that joke I was telling earlier. Should I pause before the punchline or go with the flow?
Junpei's great way of looking at things. His priorities.
Why don't we just pretend this guy doesn't exist and study on our own? I guess that's enough studying for today. Thanks to you, I got a lot more done.
So yes, just like I was saying, we all made a lot of good progress last night as we studied. And I felt glad to have the opportunity for that and to just get that much more prepared. So here we are catching up with today's calendar on Sunday the 17th. Exams are coming up. It's almost time for the home shopping show. That's true. Every Sunday morning, there's a home shopping show. Might as well check that out today. First, we should save the game, though. All right, let's move on to today, then. All right, an irritatingly catchy song comes from the speakers.
It's amazing commodities!
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the home shopping show, Tanaka's Amazing Commodities. I'm your host, Tanaka, with a live presentation of my amazing commodities. We'll show you great products at unbeatable prices. So don't touch that dial because you won't want to miss these.
I'm going to do it!
Today we're introducing the Home Alone Security Set. Living by yourself? Feeling insecure in these treacherous times? Fear not.
Good, good.
First off, we have the blinding flashlight, and you get 3 of them. With these, your house will be an impenetrable fortress. Oh my goodness, it's wonderful. But wait, there's more.
Not bad, kid.
We'll throw in this, freeze spray too. Guess how many? 3. All this for just 2,980 yen. This is a special limited product available today only. You heard right, today only. Should I buy the blinding flashlight set for 2,980 yen? I could technically afford it, but I think I would be happier to hold on to the money right now. I don't have a lot to my name, and a lot of things do cost a fair amount of money, so spending close to half of that just on items I don't see an immediate draw for probably isn't the way I want to spend that. It's nice to know the option was there, but I think my choice is to hold on to the money for this morning. Feel free to talk amongst yourselves, though, and see, what you would have done in this situation. Would you have bought the product, or would you have held off? I'd be interested to see. But for me, I'm going to hold off.
Thanks, kid.
Next time, we'll be introducing a beginner's home cooking set. Don't miss it. That's it for today. We're all sold out. Sorry, folks.
Bye-bye.
We'll see you next Sunday, same time, same channel. The shopping program is over. All right. Didn't buy anything, but it was nice to check in with that weekly ritual there. We've got some mail. Let's see what people sent us this morning. We've got Maya online. She's the friend we met in an online game. Hop online. Let's play together. We've got Bunkichi. Dear Tom-chan. How have you been? Come swing by the shop to say hello, will you? And an ad from Wakatsu. Healthy brain food. Are you eating well? Keeping a well-balanced diet nourishes your brain, which in turn can improve your studies. We prepare great food with all our hearts just for you. Remember, a healthy brain stems from healthy food. Wakatsu's got your back. I've enjoyed Wakatsu a handful of times already this playthrough. A good source of academic progress and some good food. The idea of spending some time in an online game sure sounds tempting, but also seems kind of hard to think about considering tomorrow's exam day. We checked our messages, but let's see how other people spent their day. Okay, most people did go with the social link side of things. That's always kind of a draw for me as well. We haven't met anyone named Suimitsu yet, so nothing we can do there, but people also spent time with Maya or the elderly couple, both of whom we had messages from, so we know those are options. But, 20% of people did go other directions, so there's choices to be made there as well. And looking at everyone's levels and Tartarus progress has always been kind of rough this last week because I didn't have as much time in Tartarus as everyone else, so I've got some catch-up to play next time we're able to go there. But exams have really been our focus, so that's another reason we haven't done much exploration there. Let's head downstairs and see what's going on. Seeing the empty lobby like this, it's an uncommon sight, but I was just thinking to myself, it's kind of nice to see it empty like this. If I had already come down to see multiple groups of my dorm mates here studying, it would be much easier to feel the need to have to just dig right into studying right now. So to see that everybody else is also taking their day off to potentially unwind a bit before the reality of the final push for preparedness comes in, that kind of helps me feel like, oh, maybe I don't need to spend my entire day, necessarily, in front of a book. Not that it would be bad, but it's not as critical feeling as it was. So let's see what's on TV down here. We watched some upstairs. Let's see what's on down here. Okay, we get to see a little bit more of Phoenix Ranger Featherman. On the next episode of Phoenix Ranger Featherman R, Episode 13, Maze of Love. A comforting kiss leads to a slap in the face. On to today's news. Well, we just missed Phoenix Ranger Featherman, but maybe next week. And I've said it before on Sundays, I am kind of drawn to spending time with Maya when we can. A, because I do like gaming and I like being able to interact with Maya. But B, the chances to interact with her are a lot more limited than other social links by the virtue of it needing to be a full day off, which really is only Sunday right now, and the holidays we had during Golden Week. But those days are behind us, so we just have fewer chances to get together with her. So between the elderly couple and Maya, today I would probably lean more towards Maya. This wasn't where I was intending to go, but here's our calendar update. Again, we have those midterm exams starting tomorrow morning. So we are on our final day before that. But I was going to stop by the social links here and just see what our current progress is. We're making good progress across the board here. We are up to rank 3 with the Hermit social link in our online game. And we're up to rank 4 with the old couple. But yeah, it might not be bad to spend some time with Maya. I don't have a Hermit social link persona with me. So, perhaps we should pick one up while we're out. Kind of makes me even more glad I didn't spend anything on the home shopping show. Yes, for any of you wondering, the reason to pick up one of those persona would be to get slightly more social interaction progress. By having the corresponding persona with you, you just get that much more benefit from the interaction. Not that I'm trying to min-max things by any stretch, but when I can do more, I prefer to. I don't want to leave points on the table. So let's make our way down to Port Island Station and just get some fresh air before we potentially spend some time back in the dorm playing some games. It's always nice to kind of get out early too and see the sunshine and maybe get out before the day gets too hot. Let's stop in and see what movie's playing today. Looks pretty busy. Yeah, no, all tickets are sold out today. So I could work here, but I don't think I'll be doing that. But I like to stop in and see what's available. We've got one of our regulars down here, the weak cat. Mew to you, weak cat. We've got another cat over here on the other side of things. I think if I get much closer, it's going to run. So we can kind of see it over here. I'll get the map out of the way. Again, just this general area interaction. There's nothing specific about it, but it's just kind of become almost an unofficial mascot of this playthrough. We talk to the weak cat when we can, and today we could, so we did. Good to see it's doing well. And it looks like not a whole lot else new to see here. We'll just keep our walk going. We'll make our way up to the mall, and we'll stop in and be sure to pick up a Hermit Arcana persona. Even if I don't plan to go to Game Parade, I always like to stop in and just take a look at the games. I've always liked that when I see arcade games and things like that, just to watch the game demo that's playing or to see the interactions people are having there. So yeah, even if I'm not here to play myself, I'm still kind of vicariously coming in and experiencing it. We've got Punch Boxer to work on the Persona Strength, Real Wheel Racer for Persona Agility, and Edgar's House of Fortunes for Persona Magic. All good things, but no real things that I need. We haven't actually stopped by Kenneth Arnold Music in a while. CD Shop Kenneth Arnold. The store sells a variety of music. I guess there's no reason for us to go in right now, but a couple Sundays ago, I think maybe even 3 Sundays ago now, I was able to come there with Kenji and just kind of spend some time talking with him. We'll check in on the pharmacist.
Right.
He's still talking about the benefits of preventative action so we don't need medicine. General good health habits. I'm not here to shop for anything since we checked in yesterday at the sale, but I just wanted to say hi to him and hope he's having a fantastic Sunday.
You got everything you need?
I do. I just wanted to wish you a good Sunday.
Come again, yeah?
I will. We'll head back to the Velvet Room side of things here. Elizabeth, hello. How you doing today? I'm still working on some of those requests, but nothing to report just yet. But if you don't mind, I'm going to stop in and say hi to Igor and do some business while we're there.
Welcome to the Velvet Room.
Well, first and foremost, I just wanted to say hello. I hope your Sunday is going well. I appreciate you being here for me, but I also do come with some business today. I would like to pick up a new persona. Or,
Please take a look.
I guess not a new persona, but a persona that will make me a more rounded person. Specifically, I'm looking for Onmoraki.
Please take a look.
It's a good persona that does have a couple weaknesses, but it's got some good defenses, and the way we've made it, it's got a lot of elemental coverage for attacks.
So you'll be summoning this one?
I will.
Very well, it's yours.
So it's a good persona, and more than that, it also helps with our social link progress. A win-win to have that with us.
Are you finished?
Yep, I didn't have a lot of business, but thank you so much for helping me with what you did, and take care with your day.
We look forward to your next visit.
I look forward to being back as well. And then just this march down this hallway of other doors. I always like that as we get back to our own door and come back to the mall here. So Elizabeth, thank you so much. Enjoy your day. We've said hi to everyone else. We may as well check in on Officer Kurosawa before we move on. Again, yeah, he's been talking about how the cases of apathy syndrome seem to have gone down since last week. Very encouraging for us to hear as well. Not here for anything. I would say I'll wait till the sale tomorrow, but looking at my balance, I don't really have much money to do anything with, so just here to check in, say hi, and hope you're having a good day.
All done here?
I am.
Be seeing you.
See ya. Yep, no one else to talk to around here that we haven't already heard from recently, so I won't bother any of them. Maybe we'll take in the sights at the shrine, as I like to do. Just such a peaceful place, coming out of that busy mall section where there were people going about their day everywhere. Here's the playground we spent some time with Maya at the other day. And we'll go back here and we'll just contemplate the sacred tree again for a second. It's a huge tree. And it is that. Just to kind of let the mind wander a bit, take some, deep breaths, some fresh air. Maybe say a quick mental prayer for help getting ready for exams and making it through the week. Pay our respects here socially because it's kind of hard to do it economically right now. And with that, we'll respectfully move on with our day. We've stopped everywhere else. Let's check out the station in the mall here. Always nice to see this place in the well-lit daytime. Seems a little more inviting than it does after dark. It's a big construction project right in the middle that's been ongoing. But we do have someone over here with something new to say. It's our friend the Skilled Reporter. Asking around is the basic method of gathering information, but it's not going so well this time. So how about it? Got any info on the mysterious incident? If you have any information, I can reward you for it. I know some things that would probably just come across as some dismissive story to her. Like, oh, well, actually, during a time that no one else can experience, there were monsters on the train. And that's what caused all the problems. That probably wouldn't go over too well with a reporter looking for the truth, despite, ironically, of all things, that being the truth. So for what I'm able to share with her, there's nothing I really know. I believe last time we did ask her who she was, and she revealed that she was a reporter. Calling her an old lady seems needlessly confrontational, so I will just be as straight with her as I can be here and say, I don't really know anything. Bummer. You've got kind of a mysterious aura, so I thought you might know something. Yeah. Well, maybe we'll be able to open up to her a bit more or something in the future. It looks nice and busy here again today. A lot of people enjoying their Sunday. There's Bookworms, the bookstore. We could go there, but I'm, like I said, back at the dorm, probably more interested in spending some time with Maya today. Especially so since we picked up that new persona. I bought that with the express purpose of benefiting our interactions with Maya. So, other than getting some steps here and seeing the lay of the land, I think it's time to make our way back to the dorm and and unwind a little bit with a nice game. Again, it kind of sounds counterintuitive to last-minute exam preparation, but for the same reason last night as Junpei tried to lighten the mood by telling a little bit of a joke there, it was able to calm us down and let us focus on studying. I'd like to think that the same will hold true if we do something fun today that we want to do, that gives us that break from the constant week-long preparation feeling. Then we should hopefully be able to get to this evening and pick something to do that really gives us that final productive push to get as ready as we can be for tomorrow. So yes, on the one hand, I see this as a therapeutic, relaxing side of the training. But I will also be fully transparent and say that this is a game and this is something to do for fun. So I'm not saying I need to do this game today because it'll help me study better. No, it's a game and it's for fun, but I can also tie in some benefits to it as well. So it's time spent, not time wasted, as I've been saying through a lot of things in this playthrough. But I'm going to save it here and we'll get into that game. A game within a game here. And it's good after our walk that Maya's still online. Since we picked up Onmaraki, that will only help us. We might not make any specific special progress with Maya, but I think it'll still be a good chance to spend some time with her, take our mind off of studying, and then come into this evening fresh. And again, since there are fewer times to interact with Maya, I do want to try to make the best use of the ones I do have. So let's spend the day playing Innocent Sin online with our friend Maya. Yes. I think I'll spend the day playing online. I'm in Shinagawa Dungeon. I see Maya. I chatted with Maya for a while. The bond between us is growing. That's nice. Hopefully next time we're able to interact, we can take the social link a little bit further. But more than that, it was just nice to have that break, to not have to think about studying. Kind of like last week when we spent some time with Maya, and she was lamenting her own work schedule and being so busy. She'd been doing a bit of drinking during the day while playing. She needed to take her mind off of the overwhelming work side of things. And so I think, in a way, without doing the drinking, since we're in high school, this was our chance to kind of unwind and take that break before getting back into the things we need to get done. So kind of that same logic as she applied last week, I think we're kind of applying this week. But just like that, it's almost dark. And, I say just like that, but we spent a good afternoon probably doing all sorts of, in-game content, chatting with each other, what have you, the things you do. But as a gamer, I can also feel like it feels like I just sat down and then suddenly it's dark outside. So that was the other side that hit my brain. It's almost dark. I decided to log out and leave my room. I pointed it out before, and I'll probably keep pointing it out, but I also like the fact that when we spend our day up in our room, whether it's studying or playing a game, then when we come back down in the evening, we actually come down the stairs here. So we come into the lobby from that side rather than coming in the front door like we normally do after school. Which makes sense, since we had been upstairs. But I just like the way that the game properly addresses that, so we don't inexplicably come in the front door and just, that wouldn't make any sense. We came down where it was logical to, and here we are. And Mitsuru's down here as well. Oh, it's you. I'm sure you're aware, but midterms start tomorrow. Yes, I am quite aware. Ooh. Since you've given so much time to exploring Tartarus, the least I can do is assist you with your studies. She's already done so much for us the night before last when she let us share her notes. On that note, I've arranged a study group for today. I've already invited the others in the dorm, so if you can spare the time, I'd like you to attend. I would love to attend. That's been so nice the last couple nights. Look, everybody's there. Oh. I said it yesterday as well, but it's been so hard to find the right use of the time in getting ready for these exams. I do want to do things that the character would be doing to get ready for exams, like studying. We went to the library a couple times. We studied in our room. We went to Wakatsu Kitchen to work on our academics, get a good meal, and then come back and finish our studying there. But I also did kind of want to try to vary things enough to be interesting for you guys to watch. I mean, we also said that there's a lot of times where studying by its nature is a repetitive task, so you are going to see a lot of repeats, but from presenting fun content, it's nice to have different content to show you guys. And these study groups have just been that perfect chance for that, of new interactions with the group while still being narratively focused on getting ready for the upcoming exam. So I just am so happy to have the chance to do that, and I'm planning to do that again tonight. Speaking of planning, I guess let's see what everybody else did. There are other choices between those two, but it looks like most people were laser focused on exam preparation. So, good for everybody as gamers. They're keeping that priority. I'm going to stick to that same process as well. And the game pretty clearly showcased the importance of that. Had Mitsuru meet us at the stairs and tell us. Had the entire group over there with a big study icon above it. It's like, the only thing more is if it were like a giant arrow pointing to it that was flashing. And we've got the chairman over here just taking it all in and enjoying some tea, it looks like. We'll say hi to Chairman Ikutsuki before we join the rest of the group. Chairman? Oh, that's right. Midterms begin tomorrow. That thought of him just sitting there, it's like, oh yeah, there's that little thing like midterms tomorrow. You guys are doing that still, huh? So yes, oh, that's right, midterms begin tomorrow. Ah, those were the days, back when I used to pull all-night cram sessions. After all, you've got to study night to 5. Get it? Huh? Night to 5. Oh, Chairman. Well, the same way that motivated us with Junpei, hopefully we can be relaxed now and focus with the team. Ooh, here's the fun question. Okay, if I'm coming up to this table, where do I sit? It looks like we've clearly divided the group between the women on this side, the men on this side. I could take the head of the table here and preside over both. I could hang out over here next to Junpei. I could try to be confident and sit next to Mitsuru here. I could awkwardly stand here and preside over the table in that way. Huh. Again, these are little things I had never thought about when playing the game. It was always just like walk over until the prompt comes up, interact with teammates, and go. It's fun to just be able to take this step back and talk to you guys about it. It's like, where would you guys sit? Would you sit next to Mitsuru? Would you sit at the end of the table here? Or are you pulling up the chair next to Junpei? Or, I guess, are you picking one of these other chairs and being that rebel that wants to go somewhere else? Or are you going way out there and sitting over here at one of the at the counter over here? What are you doing? Maybe you're headed out the front door and going to do something more fun than studying too. I don't know. Even just talking about that and running over here, I wasn't planning to come over here and stand at the end here, but I guess that is where I was naturally drawn. Although, as I'm standing here and thinking about this, Akihiko, we've talked about it before, he is left-handed. And as a left-handed person myself, I am differently focused on seating arrangements like that because I'm the one that's backwards compared to most people. So I'm used to that, having the right-handed person sitting next to me and, basically vying for space. So if I sit here as a right-handed character, there's this chance that I'm going to be in Akihiko's way and he'll be in mine. Maybe the game will let me be brave and confident sit next to Mitsuru. She's a wealth of information, she takes good notes. Or, for all I know, maybe the game will place me where it wants me once I interact with the team. Yeah, I'm going to try to sit here. I'm going to save the game. And let's get to studying and get as ready for tomorrow as we can possibly be.
Hello.
Midterms begin tomorrow. Are you adequately prepared? Does anybody ever really feel adequately prepared? If you do, kudos, congrats on that. Every time I would feel fairly prepared, but there would also be that, what if I'm not? What if there's something I missed? Or what if there's something I didn't study correctly? I was always average enough. I didn't do poorly. I didn't set any records usually, but I did well enough. I tried to give them the respect an exam deserves. But it's always hard to say how prepared I actually felt coming into it. It would be problematic if you neglected your studies because of our extracurricular activities. That's true, I have not wanted to use Tartarus as a reason to not focus on exams. And Mitsuru straight up told us as much as well. Like, remember, you're a student first, and everything else comes after. It won't fully make up for it, but we've decided to hold a group study session with everyone today. It isn't mandatory, of course, but would you like to join us? I would love to join you. I want to go to Tartarus. That inability to read the room and suggest that. I'm not going to suggest that, though. I really actually do want to join the study group. So, yes, I would love to join your study group.
All right.
All right, then. Take a seat and let's get started.
Yes, correct. The answer is May blues.
Aha.
Next, for the following sentence.
There's already a lot for me to comment on. I did take the seat over by Junpei there. I'd kind of wondered if that was where the game was going to put me. Nothing wrong with sitting over here. Junpei's a cool guy. And we get a good view from that side of the table. But more than that, I like what we're talking about here with the May Blues, because that was one of the questions we were asked earlier in school this week. What was the name for the feeling of depression that can come with the changing of the seasons here? And I was super excited when that question came up, because the pharmacist of all people had just offhandedly mentioned that as we were browsing his shop one day. We were scrolling through the menu, and as they do, they quipped little bits of dialogue, and one of his was, hey, you're looking a little depressed there. Sounds to me like it's a case of the May Blues. And we'd heard that line a couple times as we were in our daily saying hi to him session. So when that came up in school, that was just like that really awesome connection the game seeded for us without drawing super high amounts of attention to. So it's nice to kind of see that come up again here and reiterate that in our brain. So yes, correct. The answer is May Blues. Next, for the following sentence. I also like it. We're all taking notes here, and Junpei's got his head on his hand there, and he's just kind of staring off into space.
What's the matter, Yuri? Feeling the May blues?
I like that Mitsuru kind of humor there. That calling it out, that, is that the depression? But also at the same time doing her great way to reinforce the concept. It's like, you look and sound depressed. Could that be the May Blues I was talking about? And it's those kind of fun, mnemonic devices where if this comes up in school now and we're thinking, it's like, man, depression and this feeling. It's like, that was like Junpei during the study session when we were talking about May Blues. May Blues, that was the answer. So it's making those connections in other places. It's kind of fun to see.
What? Oh, it's nothing.
That's a good reaction. I was paying attention.
Kirijo-senpai, about this question here.
Hey, dude. Oh, you smell that? It's insane.
Where are you going with that, Junpei? Let's fish for some more details on that. Smell what? I don't want to be that guy to tell him to focus, even though maybe somebody should kind of get him back on track. And just that feeling of distraction, I'm getting hungry. Well, let's kind of humor him and see where he's taking this. What do you mean, man? Smell what?
You know what I'm talking about? There's this floral scent coming from Kirijo-senpai's direction.
Okay.
Yeah, I know what you mean. To be honest, I can't get enough of it.
All right. That's the kind of thing I'd expect more from Junpei than Akihiko.
Ha-ha! Now that's what I'm talking about, Sonata-san.
He's got an ally.
Man, this is heaven. Such grace, such elegance. Truly the fragrance of the upper class.
All of our hands have stopped moving now.
I'd personally describe it as stimulating. I can almost taste the juicy tenderness.
Well.
What?
Yeah, that has gone in a slightly different direction.
Oh, I was heating up a beef bowl for a late night snack. Smells pretty good, right?
Okay, that sounds a lot more like Akihiko from what we know of him so far.
A beef bowl? That's what you were talking about?
He sounds totally crushed. He thought he had someone that was on the same wavelength as him, and just the exact opposite. Although the thought of a nice beef bowl and the smell of that warming up, that does kind of sound mouth-watering.
Not you too! Come on! Guys like us should be thinking with our... well, not our stomachs! Sonata-san, you don't happen to have any extra, do you?
Now we might all be on the same page.
No eating until you've gotten some work done. Stay focused. Keep your hand moving.
Yes, boss, will do, boss. The enticing smell of the beef bowl motivated me more than usual. Wow, 3 points, nice. So that's all it took, was a nice beef bowl to really get the best academic progress we've made. Yeah, seeing 3 points all at once, though, that feels huge. And it wasn't the beef bowl, it was the group study session, but there's just that fun side of haha, that was the motivating thing. But to make 3 good solid points of academic progress the day before exams, I don't really think I could ask for more at that point. We're still average, so we weren't able to push any at a higher level before exams started, but I'll take that. We started as a slacker, so thankfully we've come well beyond that at this point. We've done all we can to get ready for tomorrow, so I guess starting tomorrow we just have to do it.
Beef! Beef! Beef!
It's like he's trying to start a chant here. We'll be banging on the table waiting for it.
For goodness sake. All right, if you answer 5 more questions correctly, you can have your food.
All right, motivation.
Yeah! Beef! Beef! Beef!
That's lit a fire into Junpei as well.
You're like a horse with a carrot dangled in its face.
One mention of food and you finally give a crap. That's all it takes, huh?
Motivation comes in a variety of ways. Who's to question or condemn how it comes?
All right, that should be enough for tonight. Make sure not to eat too much before bed.
I've said it before with this group study sessions, but this was another one. I really like how it was handled. It gave us different looks at all the characters, different motivations, different priorities. And that shared experience of preparing for something that is inherently an individual task. Come tomorrow, we're all on our own for these exams, but to spend the time together, getting as ready as we all can, and relying on each other's strengths, it's just nice to have that shared opportunity before we're thrust into the actual exam portion. All right. Let's break away here before we see tomorrow. Don't want to get a look at any tests before they start. So I will take us back to the desk and let's talk about some stuff. So that was the end of Sunday, May 17th, and that was another good day. Again, it felt like potentially a little bit of a quicker one, but it really wasn't. Looking back, we did do a lot of different things. We didn't quite see as many deep, connected scenes with other people, but for the ones we did, I do think we made a lot of good progress. Today was the final day before our exams start tomorrow. It was Sunday, it was our day off, so it was our last chance to rest up and take whatever time we could to prepare. And I think we did just that. We got up nice and early in the morning and watched Tanaka's Amazing Commodities, the home shopping show. Didn't end up buying anything, but it was on, and it was good to see. It gave us that choice, and the chance to make a choice. I guess, the chance to buy. We made a choice either way, but we chose not to buy. But from there, we headed downstairs, and everybody else at the dorm was out doing other things. It didn't say what or where, but I like the thought that they're all real individual people with their own priorities and goals in life, and they were making the most of their day. Kind of meant I needed to do the same. So I headed out to take that bit of a stroll that I like to do, stretch my legs, get some fresh air, see the town, say hi to the regulars, just enjoy the nice weather and take a break before getting back to work. Wanted to decide how to spend the time, and I had really been thinking about prioritizing spending some time with Maya in the online game. We talked about how limited those chances are to have time to spend with her, so trying to take advantage of them when we can. That also led to some productivity on my walk around town as we stopped in the Velvet Room to check on Igor and Elizabeth. I was also able to pick up On Moraki, a hermit persona that would help our interactions get that much closer. So having that persona reacquired and back in our minds, we were able to head back to the dorm and just take that break from all the studying we've been doing. I don't want to see that as like, intentionally slacking off and ignoring the exams that are coming up. Because yes, this wasn't a time to actually make academic progress. But there's that work-life balance idea of taking a bit of a break when you're able to, just to relax and unwind and recover, so that when it is time to study, you're able to really hit it and focus. Kind of like Mitsuru's been talking to Akihiko about for this last month, and he's been recovering from the dorm attack. She doesn't want him doing any training until he's fully recovered, because training during that time could potentially increase his recovery time or diminish the recovery returns. So it's kind of that same idea. If we're only studying for exams, it might look like we're doing a lot, but if we burn out studying, then maybe the time we do spend studying isn't as efficiently spent as it could be. So I like to think that by taking this afternoon to do something fun with someone that we're interested in spending some time with, that lets us take that step back and recharge and feel that extra motivation. So once we came downstairs this evening and we were able to stretch our legs again and say, okay, that was a really good break. And to come downstairs and see Mitsuru and everyone else at the table and have her call us over and say, hey, we've done so well in Tartarus that I wanted to put a study group together so that we can all have a chance to get as ready as we can be for exams. Would you like to join us? Kind of like with last night when Junpei tried to lighten the mood and make things easier to focus on going forward. I like to think we had the real world side of that today. We spent some hours in the middle of the day doing some gaming so that we could come downstairs in the evening and really dig in as a group on studying and focusing as much as we can. So of course I jumped at the chance to spend some time with them and study. Got to sit down, and Junpei seemed a little distracted, as he does, and was talking about this elegant smell from across the table, and seeing Mitsuru sitting across from him there, and just feeling like that was bliss, and he was in heavens, in that situation and in that moment, and asking me what my thoughts were on that. I had some idea where he might be going with it, but I wanted to humor him and just kind of ask him, like, what are you talking about? And he's like, come on, man, are you blind? Look who you're sitting next to, who we're sitting across from. Isn't this great? And then it was the surprise of Akihiko, of all people, chiming in. He's like, yeah, I know what you mean. That smell, it's captivating, isn't it? And Junpei, he was, for his part, as his eyes lit up, he's like, yeah, finally somebody gets it. It's not like this guy over here who just doesn't know what's going on. Akihiko's like, yeah, I totally understand what you mean. It smells delicious, doesn't it? And at that point, you could just, you could see or hear or think of Junpei just staring blankly at him. It's like, what? And Akihiko, just in his own way, says, yeah, I heated up a beef bowl and it's been smelling really good, isn't it? And at that point, Junpei just, his world shattered around him. He's like, man, I thought somebody else understood it the way I do. I wasn't talking about a beef bowl. And then, shortly after that, I decided, yeah, that does smell really good. And Junpei's like, oh, come on, man, you too. But shortly after that, he's like, okay, fine, you're right, that really does smell good. And Mitsuru and Yukari were working on their own questions on the other side of the table, and she just looks up and says, oh, you boys, basically, keep studying, and after you study a bit more, then you can have a snack. So we dug back in, and we kept thinking about that beef bowl. So at that point, Mitsuru's like, okay, fine. 5 more questions, and then you can have that beef bowl. And, you wouldn't believe Junpei's reaction. He was as motivated as you could believe. Akihiko said it was like a horse with a carrot in front of it. Yukari also joked about, oh yeah, sometimes all you need is food to motivate that guy. And like I said, whatever form motivation takes is awesome. So with the promise of beef bowls on the horizon, we powered through those last 5 questions, and I'm sure we put as much effort into them as we could, and were rewarded for our effort with a good evening snack. And it was nice, again, to spend the time studying, but then there's also that idea of a shared meal with the group. It's nice to study and do something productive together, but it's also nice to have that chance to just unwind, and even something as simple as like, an instant bowl of something, or reheated pork or whatever. Just that comfort food of sharing something with friends and taking that breath back from all the work we'd been doing together. It wasn't just a study session, it was a social time. We were able to be productive and people. I like to think across the board we built that little bit more of a connection with everybody there, while also focusing on what needs to be done for tomorrow. So taking a look back at today and the broader week, I didn't spend the entirety of the time studying, but I feel like I did strike a good balance between making social link progress and academic progress, getting ready. Were there more things I could do? Sure, obviously. I've been saying all week that no matter how much preparation I do, I'd never feel like it's actually enough. But I have taken active steps to do the preparation I can. So I don't feel underprepared. And at this point, you get to the end of the preparation phase, and all you can do now is rely on what you've learned, what you've listened to, and what you've studied, and try your best in the moment. So that's what I'm going to come into next week trying to accomplish. Exams start tomorrow morning, so hopefully I'm prepared, but we won't know until we get there. And as I've also been saying, I'm going to reiterate it again here, I'm not using any guides or walkthroughs or anything like that, so whatever happens, good or bad, it's all on me. I'm not going to look anything up. I'm just going to, I'm going to be the student in the classroom. I'm not going to cheat on these exams. I'm just going to try my best. I hope it works out. I got some questions wrong in class, which I saw as learning chances, so hopefully I can apply some of that logic going forward in exams here. Though those are future days, we don't really talk too much about future days other than trying to feel as prepared as I can be for them. We will do that, and whatever happens, happens. But that brings us to the end of Sunday the 17th. We're all as ready as we can be for our exams, and those will start tomorrow. So that has been the end of Sunday, May 17th, and I thank you all so much for sharing it with me. My name is Tom Shima. I stream this playthrough every day live at 12:30 Eastern Time, so if you ever want to watch it live, you can do so then. I also upload each day's playthrough to YouTube, so if you want to watch the current day or any other day, I have a playlist there. I hope you all have a wonderful Sunday, that you can relax if you can get a break, and that you can accomplish all the things you need to get done to prepare for the best week possible. I have been Tom Shima, and thank you so much for being here today. Goodbye. With that, we've reached the end of the day. Please look forward to next time to see where the game goes from here. This journey is being streamed live on my Twitch channel if you'd like to be there in person for the experience. Links and schedule details can be found in the description. I'll keep uploading each day's session to this channel so you can keep watching here. Once again, I'm Tom Shima. Thank you for tuning in. I hope to see you again as I continue the series, Persona a Day. What will tomorrow bring?